I can hear you.
Can you hear me on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, I hope we just got all of the technical difficulties out of the way for the rest of the conference. All right, so I will do this quickly, because we have a packed schedule. For those of you on Zoom, a few tips for making it through the packed schedule. If you have two talks at the same time that you want to see, I recommend you use two screens, Sports Center style. If you're here in person and you have two talks at the same time you want to see, I'm afraid you'll just have to attend them both in a quantum state. So best of luck with that. Lunches are also a bit compressed, but I encourage you to think of it as an improvement in shorter aggregate sandwiches. I do want to be serious for a moment though, as I know this is the first in-person crypto for so many of you who have been waiting through the pandemic to get to this point and to get the chance to be together in community. And I know for many of you, this is the first time you're watching from home and not able to join us. So I want to say just a few short words about this community that we formed together. I was once suggested to me that the definition of a cryptographer is a person who designs puzzles. And I do think that's true, but it captures more of the what we do than the why. And I think a cryptographer is a person who seeks to make more interactions possible, who makes more community possible on a wider variety of terms. The work we do is intended to enable people to communicate on their own terms and in control of their own information. And we're also people who enjoy taking a complicated mess of things and pulling it apart until we understand them. We are enemies of conflation. We tease apart the ability to read messages from the ability to send them, the ability to compute on data from the ability to read it. And we do this because when you take things apart and you put them back together again, you can do so in surprising and different ways. And so here we are at hybrid conferences, trying to figure out how to graft back together the pieces of our community. And there are new things that we now know are possible. IACR membership has soared as we have added remote attendance options. And those who may be less able to travel due to geographic, financial, health, or caregiving constraints now have some new tools for engaging and remaining connected to us. And the other communities that I'm a part of, including the finance community, are getting tired of supporting these new options and they are dropping them. They sometimes talk about what's possible, but then they fall back on what is familiar. And I think it is a gift that we have in this time here together, that we can cherish the familiar, that we can eat chocolate strawberries and sip margaritas and accidentally show up to the wrong room to give our talks. But I think we are also called upon to imagine what is possible, to keep thinking of ways that we can make our community better and ways that we can communicate better with each other. And what are we trying to tell each other by being here together in this space? And what are those of you on Zoom trying to tell us by tuning in remotely at God knows what hour to join us here? And I think one part of it is we value this community. We value this connection that we have built over more than 40 years. We are here in whatever form because we want to see that connection grow. And I know there are barriers to this. I know for those of you who are here, being required to wear masks indoors at the talks can be an annoying symbol of what we've lost or seem to stand in the way of what we wish to reclaim. But just think of it as adding some leakage resilience. Because the community that is here with us physically is worth protecting. And the community that is here with us virtually is worth supporting. And I'll wrap it up before I get too far beyond my scope as a general chair. But I just want to say my job has failed in comparison to the extreme effort put forth here by Whitney Morris and the amazing staff at UCSD. And I also want to thank everyone at the ICR, especially Kevin and Kay and Brian and Douglas, for all their efforts in putting things together. And as program chairs, Evgeny Dotis and Thomas Shrimpton have put together an incredible program for you all. So many thanks to them, as well as to the program committee who reviewed over 450 submissions this year. And finally, I should mention that the artwork that's up here on the screen, as well as on your t-shirts, was made by Ellen Kolesnikova, Vlad Kolesnikov's daughter. And I think it's a fitting symbol of a blend of crypto tradition alongside the welcoming and nurturing of new talent. And so please enjoy the conference. And we'll get started with session one in just a minute.